rolling up on Halloween. I don't know if you've been in a Target lately, but it's already thrown up Christmas everywhere. And I'm like, but can we just get like, it's part of where the middle-aged anxiety comes from is like, you're already behind, even if you're ahead of the game. If you've already got your Halloween costumes and Halloween's on Friday, you're behind because you don't have your Christmas decorations planned and what you need to
That's a
buy because they're
beautiful
all in the
point.
store and they're going to be gone. It's just stuff like that. I'm like, can we just enjoy something for like a minute and be like, yes, I got it all done on time. And no, you can't because now it's time to think about Christmas and Christmas cards and Christmas presents and Christmas flights and I get that. That's like first world problems, but it's just woof. It's a
That's a
lot.
great
And I don't
point. I'd never thought of that.
it's no wonder time is passing so quickly. It's like
Yeah,
you can't even
society is really
enjoy
pushing
the
it.
present moment before like pushing you on to the next thing and I had just almost cleared my to-do list. And then I saw that Christmas shit and I thought, well, yeah, you're right. I guess I should probably start thinking a little bit about Christmas. Anywho, but
Ugh,
holidays, man, holidays. They're exciting. I
yes.
love bringing the magic for my kids. I do. But man, do they require so much mental gymnastics. The whole idea of like traditions, well, I do love a tradition. Sometimes they create pressure that just really isn't necessary, in my opinion. Would you agree?
100%. In fact, I'm a pretty big
Like,
fan of if you find it to not be effective for you or for your family, then you probably shouldn't have it as a tradition, just for the
or if
namesake
it's
of
not
doing something.
sparking joy anymore.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
if you always went to the Christmas tree farm, but like last year, like you just realized like nobody's really enjoying this, like maybe just get your tree down the street.
Yeah. Well, and then I think as we've talked, it's like we're trying to be role models for our kids about setting limits, setting boundaries, knowing what's healthy for you because then you're able to show up as your
Hmm.
best self for them. And sometimes we just fall in that rut of just doing without that moment of awareness that hey, this doesn't need to kind of continue doing this. This is the first time that um since we've been together, which has now been 8 years, that we're not doing the traditional Thanksgiving. We've decided to we actually just kind of stepped back and looked at it and thought about last year. We are the Christmas tree farm people because we that's something that we thought was cute and fun with the kids. You go out in the middle of this huge field, you pick out this magical Christmas tree, you throw it in the back of the truck, and then you bring it home. And we used to all kind of collaboratively like decorate. But last year it turned out that no one was interested in doing this, even Rachel, who was 10 at this point, and here I am busting my ass trying to get all of this stuff decorated because that's what we do on the day after Thanksgiving when we've just come back from God knows where. And it was just like, what are we doing? Like who is this important to?
I think it's a good conversation though. Like, what's it all for? Who's it all for?
Mhm. Mhm. Well, we thought we were doing it for the kids.
Yeah. But turns out they don't give a shit. Yeah,
Right,
right?
right. We all think that we're doing everything for them.
Oh, I am totally guilty of that. I have definitely done things in my mind for the kids and they could care less. I've had to learn that over and over again. So, like, valid point, what you just said. Like, we actually didn't ask the kids if they wanted to go to a Christmas tree farm or if they enjoyed it the year before and want to go back. Like, we didn't ask. We just started doing it and made it a tradition.
Yeah. And it just turns out that whenever and we're making the assumption because, again, like you said, we're trying to create this magic. We have it in our heads what magic
For
is.
sure.
We want to kind of, do this because it looks and it sounds fun or it's pretty. But we asked them, we were like, do you all enjoy doing this? Do you want to do something different? And, it probably freed up the two older ones. Of course, they're not going to say, yeah, us not coming to your house at 6 o'clock on Thursday after we've already had 3 meals, that's going to save
Right.
our ass. But they're like, "Yeah, you
Right.
guys just do whatever you want, and we'll celebrate whenever you get back, just like birthdays." And we asked
Yeah.
Rachel, because she's always with us on holidays, and she was like, "Does that mean that I get to spend, Thanksgiving with, her other mom?" And she was like, "Okay, that sounds nice." So, again, we're thinking that we have to maintain this, and we ask them, and they're like, "Yeah, that sounds really good." Now we have to break the news to our parents. Um,
which
and that's probably the
is
bigger
sometimes harder
issue.
because yeah, I think they're the real tradition holders.
And that's, I think, where we just have to kind of, we talk about taking a pause a lot. And I think it's actually putting that
Yeah,
into action whenever it comes down to these moments. Our kids are old enough, I mean, 11 and 21, um, to
yeah,
be like, and sit there and have a good conversation about it. Like, if this is important to you and you want us to continue to do this, totally on the table as well. But we wanted to explore what your thoughts and feelings were, about these options. And so we didn't just like say, hey, we're going to pull the rug and say, we're not doing Thanksgiving this year, because that's not nice and not fair.
yeah,
And maybe that's not exactly what we want to do either. We want to talk about
right.
these things. And so, to give some, like, if you're in this position, practical advice, I think that it helps to build a child's skills, no matter the age, if you present options to them about something. And I think you'd be surprised about what might come up. Like, this presented a new opportunity for Rachel, and she was excited about it. She's not having something taken away by not spending
Yeah,
Thanksgiving with us. She has a new
yeah,
opportunity to have a new experience and a different kind of fun or whatever. We're giving her
yeah.
a different kind of experience. So we're not taking away anything, and we're not taking away time or something from us. I mean, you can celebrate any day on any day.
But, that to me is like one of those big parenting differences between our generation and our parents' generation is that we're willing to be like, well, maybe this is optional. Maybe this year, instead of like a turkey trot and eating, all the stuffing and mashed potatoes and all the things, maybe we go to like Costa Rica for the week or something. Now, on the same tune, if my grandparents were still alive, you can guarantee my ass would be in Louisville, Kentucky on Thanksgiving. Like, I would not miss a chance to be at my grandparents' house. But I don't have that luxury. So if you're a listener that does still have that luxury, then yeah, you need to go to grandma's traditional Thanksgiving.
Yeah. And I think that's an area we get stuck in, is thinking that we
Yeah,
have to, or just not even
have
thinking
to.
about it and going with the flow. Like,
Hmm.
we're not even asking ourselves the question, should we do this or should we not? We're just automatically doing it. And that's almost even scarier, that we're just doing something because it's something that we've always done, whether or not we're taking a moment and looking at, is this good or is it bad? I mean, if you're listening to this and you're like, well, you know what, mine's really good, then this is an opportunity to be really reflective. I would
Hmm.
be, and just, really treasure every minute then that you have with this. If this
Yeah,
is something that you have personally evaluated as being loving and fun and beneficial, then really take the moment to soak in every element of that. And if it's not,
yeah,
then maybe think that this isn't a sentence that you have to kind of play out,
have to
you
do
know?
it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, absolutely. Because in some cases, people are like, no, I love the traditions. Well, great. Then you should keep doing them and keep it up. I think it's just that pressure of feeling like you have to do it. And I know a lot of people feel that way. In your case, you host. So like people are gonna be like, so what? We just don't get Thanksgiving this year because Sarah don't
Right.
want to do it.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry, but 100%. Like, if you're the house and you're
Yeah,
saying, "Actually, you know what? We decided we're not the house," and
yeah,
everybody
right.
turns out they're okay.
Tradition over.
Right,
Fun while it
right.
lasted.
You know, we'll have, like, a Sunday dinner.
It doesn't matter if it happens on Thursday or Saturday or Sunday or whatever. The
Mm-mm.
point is that you're together. But I'm so open to the idea of like, seasons of life, things are always changing. Don't think that anything has to last forever.
Yeah, yeah,
If
and
it ain't,
especially
if it's
tradition.
not really like bringing joy to the family, then I think it's always up for discussion.
I know, and I think about, even, I was one of those kids too that my parents were divorced, and I never thought of it as that I was being taken away from something. I always saw, like, all the opportunities that I was given, um, because it was always like, "Oh, I get 2 of everything now. This is fantastic." Or it was always on different days. It was just really, really fun. And so even, like, right now, like, I'm thinking, like, the opportunity that we're giving, you know, the kids, to have freedom to do something is going to be enriching for them, and we'll
Mhm.
reevaluate next year. Do you want to step back in and we can host again? Or did you really enjoy what you're doing? Because we're not married to any of these decisions now or in the future, but let's just always take a time or a moment to like reevaluate and see
Mhm.
what's working, you know? What does everybody feel
Yeah, what's
comfortable
working?
doing? Yeah, because I don't
Yeah.
want I just don't want to be the parent that makes you feel like you have to do something if
Yeah.
you're in this kind of a thing, like, just because, like, that's not a valid reason, like, I don't know
Just
what
to
we're
make you happy. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
As the parent, right? Like, you don't want them
right.
doing it just to make you happy. Actionable steps. Let's say you're also feeling a little uneasy about the holidays on the horizon because you know it's coming with like a litany of expectations and traditions. What are some things that maybe we could give the listeners to think about or to some things they can practice as we move into this
Yeah.
holiday season?
This was one of my favorite times of year when I was working with patients, especially patients who were, addicted, because putting them back in a
Yeah,
situation like that was not always the easiest or the best thing, but they never know how to say no. And so or to politely bow out of something. And so I think that it is a good idea if you are right now feeling icky or already feeling overwhelmed with the ideas that are coming to you about the holidays, I would write down what those ideas that are hitting you are, because those are the ones that are causing the most distress and probably need to have a little bit more thoughtful evaluation, like if you should do them. For that, I would ask, who are you doing this for? Like, I don't think I've ever
mhm.
not noticed somebody I didn't get a card from. I don't, and
I
I don't,
notice.
you see, I don't know that I'm not paying that much attention. Um, I notice sometimes the amount changing, and like how many you get, I guess, so to say. But
Yeah.
I just don't know. I'd ask yourself, what are you getting from this?
I think you really have to sit down and go, okay, is this going to be worth the stress it's going to bring me this year?
Right.
Um,
And if your kids are sitting there saying, do we have to do this? I would
mhm.
maybe step back and listen to that for a minute.
And sometimes we got to do things we don't want to do, right? Sometimes it's okay to do things for the benefit of other people. It doesn't always have to
Mhm.
serve you personally.
Sure.
Like sometimes just doing things to make somebody else happy, that in some
Mhm.
way can serve you too. Like that feeling of, I'm really glad I went to visit them. They clearly
Right.
enjoyed the company or something like that.
Shorten the list.
Maybe you can take something off the top. I just feel like, yeah, if you pick one tradition, you're like, maybe this is the year we're not doing this one thing, just to see if that doesn't alleviate some of the pressure and the stress that comes with the holidays and you actually get to enjoy them. That is my goal this year. I want to enjoy the hell out of the holidays, like really enjoy them and not feel stressed. Like,
But I do think, yeah, if you're already feeling the way, write down what the 3 biggest things are and then evaluate them. And if you like, sometimes whenever we're planning a trip, um, we will not have our mind made up about where we wanna go, and, so we will leave destiny up to flipping a coin. And an exercise that we do before that sometimes is be like, well, let's imagine this. If let's say that we say no matter what, if heads comes up, we're going here. Would you feel disappointed if it wasn't B? And then if that's the case, then maybe that actually is the answer and we don't need to flip a coin. And so do that kind of self-analysis for yourself. Would you feel worse by not doing this? But be truly
doing the
honest
turkey
with
trot.
yourself. Yeah, or yeah, like the holiday cards or going to a holiday party. And then if you
Right.
still feel like yuck about it, then just maybe ask yourself if you could modify it. So instead of sending out like 50 cards, send out your top 25, you know? Um, Practice saying no before you have to. And I think
That's
that's
a
a
good one.
huge skill. Yeah, I think the biggest thing I learned, aside from just endless amounts of creativity from Girl Scouts, is that you I know, who knew it was coming this direction? That
Not me.
you have to practice the skills in times in which you don't need them in order to be successful whenever you do. And
Got to
so
build the muscle. Yep.
you gotta build it. And that means, like, practice saying no. And so this can be super, super hard for some people. So what I would encourage at that point is like if you're going through a drive-through and they ask you if you want to supersize that or add something on, then just say, "No, thank you." Actually say like the words "no" first
No,
and then
thank you.
"thank you." Yeah.
Yeah,
So that way it just gets you into the
it's a good
practice. And
tip.
that way, if you get invited to a holiday party, it's okay to say again, "No, thank you." Um, Give the person a call if you feel like
I
you
think
have
just
to.
saying too, we're overcommitted right now. I can't
Mhm.
put one more thing on the calendar. I think people are pretty understanding of it at this point. But also realizing if you have young kids, you don't have to do all the things. You don't have to do the train ride and the reindeer run and the lights festival of lights or whatever all the things are in your area because again, like they actually may not enjoy the reindeer run. I'm an overcommitter and then I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." Or, oh, we have something every day this week. And so, like,
Yeah.
trying to be mindful of that moving into this season.
Mhm. But I think that's the first step too, is like if you know that that's your tendency, like if you know what your tendencies are, then that maybe is where you start to develop an action plan, like a preventative action plan. And how are you going to exercise that in those moments? And then if you have that action plan put in place, or if you practice these skills ahead of time, when you get put in the moment, you're not caught off guard. You're not faced with a I don't know. You're not faced with then a rush of other emotions of uncertainty or obligation or anger and resentment because you've already done the prep work and lessening that. And I mean, we all have a pot and it's always got some heat on it, right? And it's not that the pot is going to go away and the heat can vary in terms of its intensity. And so if you're able to do a few of these things, then it's going to make it a much more cool environment to be in.
Yeah, I actually just thought so the last few years we've gone on like a girls' trip or just like a family trip in early December. My mom called me and she gave me the dates and what they were doing and stuff. And I was like, I could do all the things. I could probably make it work. But then I was just like, I'm going to be so burned out. And then I was like, you know what? It's okay to say no. It's okay for them to go on this trip and for you to get FOMO and wish you were there. Cool. But that's the first time I've ever really done that. I have always been like, I'll figure it out. I'll fly in Friday afternoon and fly home Sunday morning or whatever. Like I'll always figure it out. But this time I was like, I'm just not going to do that because I want to be present the rest of the month and not just be like a whirlwind of experiences. Sometimes less is more. I feel like that's the season of life I'm in right now. Less is more.
I agree. Quality over quantity. Well, and like you're saying too, it's those let's say you go on that trip or you do the thing, you send out the Christmas cards. That weight hasn't left you just because you
Yeah.
did it, because you're still not okay that you did do it. So you're not doing yourself any favors by going through with some of those actions at times.
If you really
So,
don't want like if you loathe it, then
right.
I would agree with you on that. But if it's
Yeah.
something that like I actually really like Christmas cards. I like it. I like getting them. I like receiving
Mhm.
them. But much like you, I do it all, right? So you just have to decide, is it worth all of that mental
Yeah.
energy
And if you're
to
already
do?
chomping at the bit, or
Probably not.
yeah, or if you're already feeling the stress from doing it, I think that that's again, maybe you still do it, but you need a reevaluation plan. And maybe
Yeah.
you put some extra comforts in place. Maybe you start on them a little earlier. Maybe you do it with a glass of wine. I don't know, but you make it a little, you do
Recruit some
something.
help.
Yeah, you do something to make it more enjoyable. Modify.
Yeah.
Modify if you can't not do it, you can modify your approach to it to make it lessened on you. So this is your permission to reevaluate your engagement in
Your
traditions
traditions. That's right.
as if you needed it, but just in case you did.
Some of us just need that permission.
Yeah, and it's okay. No matter how big or small.
There you go, folks. Well, happy holidays from us here.
Happy
Check us out
holidays.
at our website, thelilaspodcast.com. Check out our social media, share with friends, like, comment, leave us a review. If you listen to this on Apple or on Spotify, be sure to leave us a review.
I want to know if y'all changed any traditions based on this. Tell us what you
Ooh,
think.
yeah.
Did you agree or did you disagree? Do you have something that you gave up or that
Or
you
you feel
restarted because
strongly.
of it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here to push some buttons and get some feedback or just some validation in this too. So let us know what you think. All right, we'll talk to
All
you soon.
right. Until next week, y'all. Lilas.
We're out.